A few of the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott have coronavirus. Is it time to panic? Not so fast, my friend, as the great Lee Corso says, and I'll tell you why right here on your Pub Sports Radio Hot Topic of the Day. I'm Donnie Seymour, and this is your Pub Sports Radio Hot Topic of the Day. If you haven't heard by now, Ezekiel Elliott and a few of the Dallas Cowboys have tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, normally, that would ring a lot of red flags, bells, and whistles through all the major sports, including Major League Baseball, NHL, and also the NBA, along with the NFL. But this is the new day and age that we're going to live in. Players are going to test positive for the coronavirus. It's just the way the league and the teams are going to handle it, which is going to separate one from another. Now, when you initially hear the superstar players get it, a la Ezekiel Elliott, you do think about it a little bit more. Say, oh my goodness, are we possibly going to have a canceled season? Are we going to have a season that starts late or maybe starts up and then is interrupted in the middle of the season when if an outbreak actually does happen with the coronavirus? But taking a look specifically at Ezekiel Elliott, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, it's not the worst thing in the world. We're trying to assume now, if we take a look at June 15th, let's just say, he probably didn't just test positive for it. Probably took place in the last week, week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, or maybe fully recovered and doesn't even have the positive results anymore from COVID-19. But if you take a look at it just today, by July 1st, he's going to be ready to go and be able to get back with his teammates in an effort to start training camp on time, which will only come a few weeks later. The interesting part about this is the player's prospect over the season. Now, we haven't had any professional players, per se, contact the coronavirus and get back on the field and show no ill effects. So we're still bouncing back where the players feel good. You know, we saw Marcus Smart, Rudy Gobert, a couple of the guys in the NBA that have tested positive, but we haven't seen them in a training camp atmosphere or even in a playing atmosphere from the day-to-day games that they're going to play or week-to-week games that they would play in the NFL. So when we take a look from a season outlook, it doesn't look that bad for Ezekiel Elliott. As long as he progresses and doesn't show any ill effects, the chance that he actually gets to get the disease once again, or the coronavirus, is very infinitesimal. So we think he's going to have a pretty productive season as it goes on. You know, others being affected, you're going to have to pull them out during the season. But when you look from a player's perspective and a team's perspective in the NFL, or even the NHL, Major League Baseball, or NBA, it's better to get it before the season starts because there's a chance that, yes, you might be able to get it down the line again. But again, as we said, it's very infinitesimal that's going to happen. Now, the interesting part here when we take a look, we are sports gamblers. We're on the sports scene because I know a lot of people like to gather value, whether it be a team total, whether it be jumping the opening lines in the NFL from week one. It's going to be hard to project who's actually going to be there, so what type of value will you actually have? And even when you take a look at things like the college football games of the year that they put out, you know, we're going to be betting into Auburn and Alabama maybe in November. You don't know who's going to be playing in that football game, even with injuries, and now with a virus that could be popping up throughout the season. So I do hasten to say, when you're looking at value in these sports leagues, specifically with the video today on the NFL, you're looking at week one saying, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to get good value. I think I'm going to jump the line and beat the line movement. But boy, a week ahead of these games, if maybe a superstar player, quarterback, running back, cornerback, or offensive line might be infected by the COVID-19 virus, you're going to lose, obviously, all your value in that. So tread lightly when you're betting these things early. Do you always want to get opening value? Of course you do. But if those players aren't going to play in a lot of uncertainty that's going around right now with COVID-19, it might not be to your advantage. But getting back to the original premise of the video itself with Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to be fine. He's going to prosper. He's going to have a good season. You know I'm an Eagles fan, so hey, maybe he doesn't have the greatest season in the world this year, but he should be productive and ready to go and a low infection rate again since he's already contacted the coronavirus. It'll be interesting to watch over the next couple weeks how these things progress, but when it just hits the media, it's usually a much bigger story than it actually is, and we'll find out at a later date of how many teams and how many players test positive for the coronavirus as we move forward and how these leagues actually operate and continue to maintain on the field and have a productive season. This is going to be an interesting one to watch. I'm Donnie Seymour. This is Pub Sports Radio, and this was your Hot Topic of the Day.